So walking into this week's episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, I was very worried about the cliffhanger that we were going to receive because we won't get the final couple episodes for a few weeks now because it'll be airing at the end of the month. And I have to say, I'm happy with the cliffhanger we got. We literally get a cliffhanger of the boss getting his face beaten to a pulp with the "to be continued, where does it go from here?" I think that's a perfect cliffhanger to leave us off on. My boy Bruno has beaten death more times than he should have been. And to see him finally pass on, I thought would be something that would really break me, really make me feel depressed, but after everything he's been through, after so much suffering, he finally gets peace. He can just pass on and believe in Giorno, that he will be the one to not only inherit the arrow and all this power, but inherit his legacy and be the leader that the world pretty much needs at this point. And I really enjoyed his death scene because the boss ignored everything. He just said, okay, I dealt with this and I can now get the arrow. But he didn't fully take out the stand. And Bruno, being Bruno, who can literally attach a zipper to anything, after learning how this all occurred, he can easily destroy everything, but in result will also destroy himself. And I love how it gives a hopeless situation of, holy shit, the arrow just pierced King Crimson. This is the most deadly combination probably imaginable, as seen by him already appearing to be overpowered. What is this power-up going to do to then just that shattering realization of what Bruno did? I love that. Because the reason I love the boss so much is that he has a god complex. He truly believes that because he can see the future, because he can skip time and basically make reality his bitch, he can do or say anything, and that basically fate has decided that he will be the king of the world. And you can understand how someone could get that egotistical. When you have a power like his, it's very easy why you would think that fate's in the palm of your hands. But I love how over this endgame, his kind of desires and his will and his god complex has been shattering more and more. And this episode, it goes completely out the window. He feels as if he will be the king. And no, there's only two kings in this episode, that being Bruno and Giorno. As much as I love the boss, as much as I love what he did to this story, he is no king. He was just someone trying to play king, and I love that. It is so just different. We've never seen the boss like this. The boss has always been someone who's had a trick up his sleeve and has always been able to outplay everyone, and he's never felt as if he didn't deserve the title of king. Literally, King Crimson, he deserved the title of king hands down. That was until fate was revealed to be not as maybe linear as he was making it out to be, and I loved that. It was so intense seeing something play out that I thought I had a pretty solid grasp on. I still was thinking Giorno would get the arrow, but I thought maybe both King Crimson as well as Giorno might power up and we'd have something similar to like a part 3 battle where it's just a lot of punching. I thought something like that could happen, some crazy mind-shattering kind of universe-breaking battle, which we kind of do get in this episode, but it definitely didn't go where I was expecting, and I'm very thankful because of that. You know, all the characters think Bruno is going to just be walking from the Colosseum, but Giorno knows what this means, and I think for someone who's technically been dead for all this time, his passing is something that we've come to accept at this point, and to see him get the peace and trust in Giorno, I don't think there was a more satisfying conclusion for Bruno than what was seen here. It was a very emotionally kind of perfectly tied up arc just for best boy Bruno. He had a big journey and he's always wanted to give his life for the gang, and he finally did in more ways than one. Giorno though, and just the power up, holy shit, the new gold experience this is overpowered. I love how King Crimson, for a good chunk of this story, was like, holy shit, how are they going to defeat this? And now King Crimson looks like a baby in comparison. He can basically just stop anything he doesn't want. The premonition of just how everything was going to go down, even though Giorno's not aware of what's happening, if you stand in between this stand, the stand will just negate it feels like. And I love how just when it's all occurring, he's just firing a rock as if like a laser. That's how strong he is. All these like pebbles become scorpions to rip off fingers. This is ridiculous, but then you also think, well, yeah, similar to Diablo, like, of course, you can just predict this, erase it, skip it, you know, you can do things and get out of this, and then he just like, nah, this isn't happening. David Production, I don't even, like, I'm kind of curious. I'll probably go and look at this chapter in the manga just to see, like, how it looked in the manga in comparison to what David Production did. Because just the sheer amount of colors and just warping perspective, we've gotten a few glimpses of just King Crimson kind of warping the universe, and it's been cool, but seeing what Gold Experience did, that was completely different playing field, duplicating the bodies and just making it feel as if we just did some hardcore drugs and we're tripping on whatever we're just seeing, and I love that. It really felt like David Production really grasped what this author actually was going for, that Araki was kind of trying to craft this universe mind altering situation, and I think David Production really brought it to life and you can just tell just how scared the boss is for probably the first time in his life. Someone who's thought that he's had everything up his sleeve, that he can just, hey, if I'm getting shot, I'll erase this point in time, I won't be shot, to then just the rewind being like, it's rewind time, and then just, holy shit, I'm gonna get shot, and I'm gonna get my face pummeled in. It's gonna be interesting to see how the final couple episodes wrap up, because holy shit, where do they go from here? Do we get actually some satisfying kind of epilogue? Where is it actually going to go? But, you know, all along it's been Giorno's story. Even though it's an ensemble cast and Bruno was the leader of the gang for a while, Giorno's always been the unofficial leader, and I like how the torch was passed to him in the end stages of his journey, because this was a bigger story than just one JoJo. It was literally this entire cast, and I think that's the brilliance of this part, is that they all had their chance to shine. Sure, Trish maybe didn't get as much time to shine as I would have liked, because the development we've seen with her has been incredible. I would have loved to see another 10 episodes of this Trish with us, but everyone did have their chance to shine, especially seen by the main antagonists of this season, and I love this. This was just, holy shit, kind of just sat back and we're thinking, how did they just make a stand who's made everyone just their bitch become something that's not even threatening anymore? Like, holy shit. You can understand why this arrow was held onto for so long, because you wouldn't want this to fall into the wrong hands. Imagine if the arrow actually accepted Diavolo and his stand got amplified like Giorno's. That wouldn't be good. The universe would be destroyed. And it's only because Giorno's a good guy that you can trust in the fact that even if he does questionable things, even if he is a questionable mob boss, at the end of the day, he won't destroy the world like the boss would. And I love that. This episode, I think, for leaving us on a cliffhanger for so long, got a couple of weeks break here, I'm not even mad. I'm just like, our cliffhanger was watching the boss, someone who's made life hell for all these characters, killed so many best boys, then to just leave off on a cliffhanger of the boss getting his face pummeled in. Damn, that's a good cliffhanger. I love this episode. Holy shit, just the voice acting and the poses. When you see Giorno powered up, this man means business. King of kings, both Bruno as well as Giorno, and turning someone who controlled fate up to this point on its head, saying you were nothing. Damn, JoJo, this is why I love Golden Wind. This was an incredible episode. I believe it was last week when I was mentioning how this endgame is essentially walking towards an arrow, and how much I love that because it's so different than what you're typically used to for a JoJo endgame. This episode, the first half was watching one of our characters die, and then the second half was watching one of our other main characters make reality into their bitch and just make the most powerful character we've seen up to this point just feel useless. And that's so interesting to me, that not only can we just watch for like 5 minutes straight, just eyes glued to the screen, reality shattering and break, and make us say, why is this happening in the way it is? What's going on? This probably is something to do with Giorno's stand, but at the same time, what the hell is happening? I love that. I love how JoJo can just have the most basic of idea. Hey, we're gonna make the antagonist of the season just have his mind shatter and break over the course of 10 minutes, and that's what we're gonna follow. We watch it occur and we're like, this is the most complex thing ever, and I love it. Hey, we're gonna have the first 10 minutes of just a passing scene of one of our best boys. That's perfect. Hey, the majority of this endgame is going to be walking towards an arrow and trying to outplay the other. That sounds perfect. I love how simpler is sometimes better. And because it's simple, they can really flourish these details to feel so complex, and just watching reality shatter in the way it did, it was absolutely fantastic. And I think in terms of voice acting, Giorno brought his A game. He said very little in this episode, but when he said things, especially when his stand said things, holy shit, it felt like this is the king. This is the sheriff in town. And Bruno, the way he delivered that scene of just feeling like he's passing and it's okay, you can't tell me that didn't send some chills up your spine, because it did for me. I just felt like the voice actors, and then Diavolo, the man just shattering and shaking, and just, he's trying to say he's king, but he's really shitting his pants. All three of these actors just delivered their A game. Some of the best performances for all of them within this episode, maybe even their best performances in my honest opinion. JoJo, I don't know how they keep doing it, but they keep topping themselves, and I don't know where the final couple episodes want to go, but that makes me extremely excited because they could do anything and I'm probably going to love it at this point in time. Hell, the final episode could just be Giorno licking a cherry for 20 minutes, and I'm not even gonna be complaining. I don't even know how you come up with how you stylize the universe kind of shattering and warping perspective with all the colors overlaying on these characters and feeling as if we're dizzy and duplicating as if we're being ripped apart from reality. I don't know how you come up with how to stylize this with color and animation, but David Production brought their A game, and I just love what this arc is doing. This is my favorite endgame, my favorite part of JoJo, and I just can't wait for the remainder of this season and future parts for sure. Let me know what everyone thought though. Mongreators, how did you feel about the adaptation? Did they bring it to life as you were hoping for in Anime Originals? What did you think? Were you like me in this episode, or were you feeling something completely different? Let me know. And be sure to like the video if you did enjoy, and also hit that subscribe button if you have been new. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.